So today I'm going to talk about the case of Miya Marcano. And I've been watching it since it happened. And I know that that was one of the saddest stories I've heard. And since living in Florida, I for sure follow all the stories like this. And it's never been a personal fear of mine of missing like this. Not in the last couple of years, at least, because I moved with a good reason. If you have basically, I watched the story of this one. If you ever feel uncomfortable in your apartment or condo or house alone, you should tell your family, but you should also be overnighting. If you feel that uncomfortable, you should be overnighting with a relative or someone that you trust or friend. And so, this was her maintenance guy, and his name sounds very Hispanic, Armando. So like he doesn't look like a criminal to me. Like when I first see this guy, he doesn't come off as a criminal. And sometimes those are the people who do things, Those are the people you have to watch out for. And so, I think he was really cute, actually. And so, but if she felt comfortable in her home, then she should have stayed with a friend or relative. You should stay with a friend or relative when you're so pretty like she was. She's a very cute girl. And these stories are always devastating, I think, when you're a girl. And you always hate to see them, for sure. So Miya Marcano was born on March 26th. And March 2002 in Pembroke Pines, Miami. Her father, Malin Marcano, was very famous in Miami, they say. And he's been around for a while. And before she moved into this place, he, in South Florida, he checked it out to make sure that it was fine. And when you're a beautiful girl, I think it's even better for you to have a roommate, or definitely have a roommate. And that can even be like a married couple as your roommates is a really good idea. A guy and a girl, they're married, that's a great idea. But or live with your family if you are so beautiful and you attract so much attention, for sure. But you can live alone, like you just have to be more aware of your surroundings. And it seems that she was an outgoing, passionate girl. She loved carnivals, kids carnivals. I love carnivals too. I think a lot of people do. Of carnivals, Disney, things like that. And so it was around the time of COVID where she was graduating and from her school in 2020. And she's characterized as funny, sarcastic, caring, and loved by her family. A kind-hearted. To me, when I first saw her in pictures, she came off to me as a quiet girl. as more of a quiet girl. And so sometimes when you're quiet, yeah, I was a quiet girl too, like most of my life, I'm going to say. I've been the, just because, I don't know, I don't really have a reason, but sometimes you just decide to be quieter. And sometimes men will target you because you're the quiet girl. And they will, sometimes you attract weird men because they know you don't talk that much. So they assume you're not going to talk enough to get yourself out of awkward situations when you need to start talking. And there's a lot of men who prefer quiet girls. I learned that firsthand. So you need to start talking because that is more intimidating. You don't want to be too quiet so that they feel like they can get away with more on you. And so she was a friendly girl. She would befriend anyone, anywhere. Very beautiful, and she looks like she's just a very happy person. I feel like she's very peaceful in her photos. Like she looks very happy and peaceful, and like she's just enjoying her life. And I like the aura that she has in her photos. Like she's very sweet and happy and very peaceful. A lot of peace on her. And so, she lived in the Arden Villas complex, Orlando, Florida. And this apartment complex was very, it was actually really nice. And if you live there, you should not be living in fear. You should just be more aware of your surroundings, and have a roommate, if you are feeling uncomfortable, because I've had roommates, Japanese girl roommates, full Japanese, full Korean, full Indian from India, a lot of full white roommates too, Hispanic roommates, all kinds of different Hispanic roommates I've had. So she's pursuing her college dream, and she was working right there, where in the same apartment that she lived. And that is actually very safe to do that when you work in your same apartment complex, so you don't have to drive. That's a really good idea because you save money and then you're right there at home. So for sure this area was safe enough for his daughter. And yeah, he was telling her to carry mace pepper spray. Yes, but you remember that you have to keep in mind that these maintenance men, they always have your key to your apartment complex or anything, that anywhere you live, they have access to getting into those. So, it's, with that in mind, you can sleep easy as long as as long as you are very vocal to your friends, family, that you don't feel comfortable and you stay with them when you don't feel comfortable. Because these men, a lot of times they like us, these maintenance guys. And I've had maintenance men in the past who made me feel uncomfortable too. And those are typically black maintenance men. And you tell your management that you don't want to see any black maintenance men in your unit ever again. Make sure it doesn't happen. And they should respect your wishes. Those should be granted. Mine were granted by the white management that I had at the time, because they used to be all white. And then suddenly they went all black on me. They had the nerve to get all black on me. So I was not having it. I had to get out, and I'm glad I moved. But like, my favorite maintenance men are white men, full white, full Japanese. Also, I've had all of these full white, full Japanese, Hispanic. Hispanic maintenance men are generally very good men. You don't have to live in fear. You just know in your heart if one is flirting with you, what you need to do. So like, and I've also seen a lot of stories like this where the girl rejects his advances, and that's when she's missing or dead. And so Miya was close with her family and active on her social media, TikTok, Snapchat, and so she was living a very comfortable, healthy, happy life. And you should know that even when you are in your own essence, you're in your own world, you're beautiful and people are noticing you. These men are noticing you, and maintenance men too, a lot of different men. And they notice when you're beautiful, and they know when you're living alone. They know when you have roommates, and they see you in your happiest, best moments of your life. Like this was at the height of her life, and they want to join with a woman, a girl who is that. They know that they want to be, especially with maintenance men. I feel like a lot of times they aren't, no, not necessarily. Some of them seem generally happy with their jobs. When I've interacted with them, they seem peaceful with it. But some of them seem like they want something else, and they are tired of it. They don't have to say it, but they're for sure looking for a girl sometimes who's living a lifestyle like she was, going to Dubai, traveling the world. They want to move in with someone whose life is really easy going like that. Sometimes, yeah. And so Miya was celebrating her Caribbean heritage. To me, she looks like she could have been full Latina, Puerto Rican too. She could be black. She kind of could pass for a few different ethnicities for sure. She probably was mixed. And she was finishing up work, and she texted her friends to let her know she was finishing at work and about to head home, and just to grab her things and last minute things and get to the airport and catch her flight. And she planned to grab her luggage and catch her Uber at the airport. And like when you're this pretty, I think Uber is not even. You have to be more paranoid about basic things when you're this pretty as she was. Mia's very model looking. Don't even catch an Uber when you look like this. And when you can get Lyft too, but you need to overthink things when you're this pretty. You have permission to be paranoid, So she got a text message from the same friend, Snapchat, and Miya never responded to her friend. I think her name is Callie. Text message, and it sent off some red flags to the friend. And so this guy, Armando, he was very obsessed with her. And it's so easy for him to be watching her daily because he works there and she works there. And so, like, on her way back to her apartment, she's wearing a t-shirt, black hoodie, white bag, holding yellow rose in her footage. And, at some point he was so infatuated with her. And I don't think that there was any dating for him to. Men don't have to date you to be infatuated and obsessed with you, not at all. So he'd been watching her. She's beautiful. And he sent her a huge amount of money to her Cash App. And so I think it says he sent like $700, and she sent it back to him. And this is like a man who he's carefully thought out. For a guy to send you that much money and he doesn't even know you, yeah, he's very interested in you. He would marry her, I think. So I think he in his mind wanted to marry her, and he imagined marrying her, having kids with her, and living a comfortable life. And so, men, when they're obsessed, they will spend any amount of money for sure on you. And he, like maintenance men, I think they feel like they are at a disadvantage already because they're the maintenance guy. They're the maintenance guy. Has anyone ever said, hey, I want sex with my maintenance guy? Like, no. Like, no one does that. You know what I mean? Like, and so, I think they feel very disadvantaged because they are the maintenance guys that we don't typically think about. And, it's not really cool to date your maintenance man. It's not a trending. So that's what happened, and she rejected his advances, and he was really angry because I think he carefully sat there and thought, I'm going to do something out of the box. I'm going to send her a lot of money. She's going to be my wife. She's going to marry me, and we're going to have kids. Because men, they sit there and they plan out stuff like that. And when she sent it back, he got really angry. And since he knew where she lived, it was a lot easier for him to take revenge on her. And when she left her home, one day she came back and he had already entered. So he abused his entering access, which a lot of maintenance men do in these kinds of stories. And so he was already there. And so around this, by the way, I have a little guess. If you are paranoid of your maintenance man, you should, every time you enter, you should look around, leave the front door open, and look around. Leave your front door open while you're looking around, and be on the phone or something like that is a good idea. So, look around, check around your place to make sure he's not hiding out in there. Because when the black maintenance men were on me a lot, it was so many of them, and I felt very uncomfortable enough to tell management no more black maintenance men for me. And they're supposed to respect your wishes and not write you off as a racist. You're not a racist, okay? You're a girl who is scared living in your home, so the white women respect my wishes, and that's why white management is my favorite, because they don't write you off as a racist, which they shouldn't. But if you have black management, they're going to be like, oh, she's a racist bitch, she doesn't want the black maintenance. Just don't stamp me as a racist, because I'm not. I'm scared living in my home with these aggressive black maintenance men who don't have lives. And really, other maintenance men, they can be very friendly too, but like white maintenance men, they might ask a lot of questions, very friendly, like, when are you moving, and stuff like that. And that's fine with me when you're white, when you're Hispanic, when you're Asian. But you cannot be coming at me and making me feel all weird. If any race guy, if he's making you feel like that, you need to do more about it. And so she came home and he had already entered. And so she closed the door behind her, and that's when he took action. He put that mini fridge against the front door. He put a lot of things, a bookshelf, propped it against the door. And I think that he raped her, because he was so obsessed with her that I think that he had to violate her. And then with all the evidence on her body, she was still alive. He was so scared of getting caught that he took her and he tied her up into his apartment area that wasn't too far from hers, the apartment area where he used to live, and he left her in that area where natural things would happen to her, like animals are out there, alligators are out there. And she was stranded out there, and so by the time that she was found, she was a skeleton, which ruined all DNA access of anything being done to her. But I think she was for sure raped by him. I feel like that. And she's very beautiful, And then he's not even a bad looking guy, but like, he was so obsessed with her. And generally I've never really feared Hispanic men. They like me too. All races of men like me. But Miya had contact with her friends and her family, and they noticed that she wasn't replying. And Armando Caballero. So in the parking lot area, they have it all on camera. And, they questioned him, and I think when I watch the videos, this is a man who's like used to, he had confidence. He had a lot of confidence about him, because he didn't look like a criminal at first glance at all. So I feel like he wanted to be treated like he was not a criminal and was not a suspect. And sometimes people, every once in a while, when they're guilty, they'll play like they're a good person, like he was doing. And like, So he was talking to the police, and since he doesn't look like a criminal, it's easy to think that he had nothing to do with it. And then with all the Hispanic influence in Florida, I don't like the way her case was handled. Like, there were fingerprints on the window and door, and that was collected by some forensic science person, and it says that they didn't want to collect those because of some weird reasons, you know. So I don't think they should have handled it so lightly like that. That was very offensive. This is someone's relative. Oh, for sure. I would, if she was my relative, I would definitely sue. That's a really huge lawsuit. You know, she should be treated like a missing white woman. Give me a break. You know, like, when a white woman is missing, you know what happens. Everyone's searching, and all the forensic science stuff is collected, the handprints and everything. Everyone, like, case of the missing white woman, and this is like similar to like a Sudishka case type of thing. And remember that Indian girl who was missing in Dominican Republic? It's kind of has similarities to it, except not missing from her maintenance man. And so so the family questioned the guy, and he's talking to the cops, and he's sounding all confident, saying that you shouldn't treat me like I'm a suspect, like being that defensive like that. And that's for sure a red flag, how defensive he was. And they were watching, it's sad because her family had to become like the private investigators. Like, if the police and the forensic scientist people were doing their jobs, then why did her family have to wait and catch the killer on their own? That's not fair, to her family. So Miya, Marcano's family, caught the killer with her blanket, carrying her blanket into the place, and they were like, I saw the video, they were like, oh, that's my blanket, and that's, that's ridiculous that you have to hire yourself, and for your own family's case, that's not fair, and that's a lawsuit. And so they finally got justice after the case was filed. And they had her funeral at a church there. But how many times does this need to happen for them to work a lot harder? Because it's happened too often, because there used to be a South Asian girl from India who was neighbors with my sister in a different Florida condominium, and her maintenance white male was the one who killed her, and so she's gone. And she was very beautiful. We were friends with her. She was Hindu. And how many times does this need to happen for them to change something? Like, if you are feeling uncomfortable, and at the time, yeah, she was drunk, and you have to be more paranoid if you're a drinker, and I don't drink, but if you are a drinker, you're at a big risk of a maintenance man coming into your place and taking advantage of you while you're drunk because you're drunk, and maintenance men know you're drunk and they see you alone being tipsy and they want to take advantage of you. Like that's what happened to our Indian girlfriend. And no, if you're sober, usually for sure men don't bother you. So if you're going to drink, you should not be drunk alone. That's a good idea for your safety. You should, if you're going to be drunk, you should have some, like a group of friends, girls and guys, spending the night at your place and coming back with you to make sure you're not all by yourself and being preyed upon, because men are always watching you. And these maintenance men, it seems like they're like the loneliest men, because the Indian girl, she was killed by the full white maintenance guy. And these maintenance men, it's like they're the loneliest men in the world. So I feel like a lot of them, it's like, I think a lot of them want a girl or girlfriend who is like not so average. Like if he's so dusty and he's a maintenance guy, because maintenance men, who, it's not trending to be with a maintenance guy, you know, like we don't brag to our girlfriends, hey, you know, I date a maintenance guy. we don't do that shit, you know, like that's not a flex, you know. So like if you have a maintenance guy that wants you, you got to be really paranoid about that one, because they already know it's not a flex to be with a maintenance guy. But for sure, our Indian friend too, just like me and Marcano, our full Indian girlfriend, she was living a very happy life, very peaceful life, Hindu, and that's the person they want. They want someone who's got so much peace, comfortable life, because they're, you know, I feel like they target girls who have a lot of peace, have a lot of comfort, have great jobs. And beautiful. That's who they want. They want you. They target you. So be more careful and be more aware of your surroundings. And, you know, my condolences to her family. Thoughts and prayers. And I know how it feels to know someone who goes missing and dies this way because of our Indian girlfriend. I won't say her name right now, and I don't want to talk about our Indian girlfriend's case, but yeah, I know how it feels when you know someone who's missing like that. So it is scary, it's devastating, you know. So you have to be more aware, and you don't have to live in fear at all. But you need to change the way you do things when you're a beautiful woman living alone. If that's you, you know. Get roommates, get married, something, get family living with you, something.